In this video, I'm going to share with you how to deal with the value of your potential, even when there seems to be no evidence, no proof that there is any value as far as your potential is concerned. And this is something that you don't want to miss. All right? Dimitri here. Let's get right into it. Have you ever felt like you are working hard towards something, but still have nothing to show for it? You went to school, you got all the degrees that you could get as far as your particular field is concerned. You went on to acquire the work experience and you apply for the particular position. You are accepted in this particular field, but you still remain like an outsider within the team. You are there, but you don't quite belong yet. And you are basically now stuck in between two levels. Where you're coming from, because you can no longer go back there. And where you aspire to, because you are not accepted and given the green light to move on to the next level. And this is something here I would like to actually share with you. It's like basically you're sitting there somewhere and you receive an invitation from American Express. You have qualified for the black card or the centurion card. You have the letter in your hands, but the letter does not give you the card. You have to now go through the process of actually calling the company and receiving the card so that it can be activated in your name. The letter in itself is not something you can take to any business. Says, I would like to buy XYZ, and this is where you can actually charge this particular transaction, because the letter is not a card. So this is how some people out there are feeling as far as their potential. They can see that I have the potential, but when it comes to how to deal with the value of this potential, I have no evidence. I know I'm worth something, but when I look at my bank account, when I look at the day-to-day activities, I can see that yes, what I'm experiencing right now does not speak to the quote and unquote potential I'm carrying. And this is where most people now are basically losing their mind, because they are tempted now to devalue what they have. But before you start doing that, my friend, let me just tell you something really key. Just because you don't have the card yet, just because you don't have the black card yet, doesn't mean that that letter is worth nothing. And this is something key that you have to keep in your mind. But before I can go any further, let me just give you a simple example to further illustrate what I'm trying to say. In 2008, I believe, the company known as Bugatti put together a very flamboyant series of cars known as variant, noir, meaning black blood. And I'll call it this now the black blood paradigm. No pun intended, of course. The black blood paradigm. So they put together the cars. There are about 12 cars only in the world. The 2008 variant noir, or black blood. A few years later, this fellow Canadian by the name of Drake acquired one of these cars. It was a black car, of course. And he started driving around Toronto. And at one point, he went somewhere. He got into the place. And as he was coming out, a crowd of onlookers gathered around him. They were just looking at Drake getting into his car. And I was going to start the car. Here's the funny thing. That car comes with a set of 3 different keys. In order to start the main engines, you need to have 2 keys inserted, and now you have to do something in order for the car to be started. Drake got into the car. He put the first 2 keys, and he started to start the car, and the car will not start. So to some of the onlookers out there, they say, oh my goodness, this is quite quote unquote embarrassing. How is it possible? He is unable to start this expensive exotic car. So they started chuckling. That was some of the onlookers. And as a matter of fact, there's even a video about that somewhere on YouTube. So they were laughing. But as they were laughing, the gentleman kept his composure. Because he said, yeah, the two keys, I need to start the car in a particular manner. I cannot start the car, but I'm going to figure it out. So he tried again, it wouldn't start, actually, as if he didn't know what he was doing. But the gentleman just remained calm. Eventually, he was able to start the car and drive off. Why am I talking about this particular incident? For one key reason. Just because Drake was unable to start the car on the very first two tries doesn't mean that all of a sudden the value of the car went down to the point where you could now compare the Bugatti and put it on the same level as a Toyota Tercel. No! That's the first point. And even if for some reason the car broke down that particular evening and the car had to be towed to a place where the Bugatti engineers or mechanics will come down to fix the car, this incident would not have brought down the value of the car and put it on the same level as a car you buy at the auction. Because all of a sudden the car is broken down. No, the car will still maintain its value. So similarly, now back to you. Just because for some reason so far you have been unable to start the car with the main two keys does not mean that the noir that you're driving is all of a sudden has lost its value. And even if for some reason that car were to break down, that does not mean that all of a sudden the car will be put on the auction block and sold basically at a very discounted price. No. The car will still maintain its value. Why? Simply because it's one of the 12 in the world. It's a Bugatti, it's a Veyron, and it's a noir. And so are you. So are you. So just because you don't see the evidence yet, as far as the value of what you're carrying, does not mean that the noir that you're driving or that leather in your hand that you're carrying has no value. That's not true. But as in everything else, it's going to be simply a matter of process. Let me now give you the first step to consider when it comes to how to come to a place where the potential is now going to be put on the same level as value. And people are going to see the hardcore evidence as far as the value of your potential. Four key steps to consider. I will simply call them the U.P.D.O. Simply because in life, when it comes to moving from one circle to the next, sometimes you have to consider how you present yourself. You have to consider the level of formality that you are bringing to that circle. Every circle has a certain level of a measure of set standards that people have to abide by in order for them to be embraced. If you don't have that level of formality or whatever standard you have to live up to, nobody's going to ask you or invite you to come. So such is life. So the process is called U.P.D.O. So U.P.D.O. Let me go with the first one. Life is a process, right? So just because you receive a letter from American Express saying that yes, I've already pre-approved you for this black car, the Centurion car, you still have to go through the process. Just because you have the letter does not mean anything. You still have to go through the process. It's not for them to say, yes, the so-and-so want to have the card in this. So they receive the invitation, and now we're going to extend everything to them, the card, and take them to the next level. So life is about process. The first letter is you. You for what? Upskill. You have to figure out exactly, as far as where you are, what are the next skills that you need to acquire. It could be simply social skills that you need to develop as far as moving on to the next level is concerned. You may have already acquired all the skills as far as academia is concerned. You may have acquired all the skills as far as work experience is concerned. But when it comes to certain social skills, you may be still lacking so these skills. So you need to figure out for yourself exactly what you need to acquire as skills in order for you to be embraced in the next level. That's number one. Being for what? Patience. Rome was not built in one day. Anything significant, any significant project you're going to consider will take some time. So there is no need to rush certain things. So you simply could have to be patient as far as moving up is concerned. So you acquire the proper skills and you have to give yourself a huge dose of patience. Things will not happen to you overnight. The concept of overnight success, as the digital economy sometimes try to sell to us, as Hollywood like sometimes to sell to us, is not true. You need to go through some ups and downs. You have to be patient with yourself until something's going to happen. That's just how things go. Number three, I would simply call D for what? D for denomination. In every religion, there are many different subgroups. So you're going to have the main religion, the main faith, which is called, for example, Christianity. That's the main group. But under the group of Christianity, there are many different subgroups or denominations that one has to be aware of when it comes to this group called Christianity. Same thing with Islam. Everybody can be called Muslim, but within the faith of Islam, there are many different subgroups that one has to consider. That's just a reality. So as far as life is concerned, you're going to have to also consider your own denomination as far as your particular field is concerned. Yes, I am part of this field of engineers, but what is your denomination as far as the field of engineer is concerned? Are you a civil engineer? Or so you have to figure exactly what the denomination is, because once you find your denomination, you're going to find your tribe, you're going to find your group, and as you find your group, your supporting group, they're going to not be able to help you remain centered as far as your process and the patients are concerned, because they know that yes, you are simply upskilling yourself. That's number one. They know that you're simply going through the process of patience. So this patience can be sometimes trying. So they have to be there to support you as far as time is concerned. So you have to find your denomination. D for denomination. Don't simply stop there. You have to also go for O. O for what? For obedience. In every faith group, there are some subgroups that are called denomination. But within this particular denomination or subgroups, there are also a very precise or unique subgroup within the subgroups that one belongs to. I may be a Baptist, I may be a Methodist, I may be whatever you call yourself, I may be a Sunni, whatever you call yourself. But within the subgroups of the people, you're also going to belong to a very particular niche group of people that you listen to. Those voices are the voices you pay attention to. You don't simply pay attention to what the imam is saying within your denomination is concerned. You don't simply pay attention to what the rabbi is saying within your sub-denomination, but you're paying attention to what a select group of people within the subgroup are saying, and this is now your obedience. So once you find within this subgroup, this group of people, they're now going to, within you're going to resonate, my friend, slowly but surely, they're now going to start shaping your faith, shaping your belief in the way it's supposed to be shaped as far as your journey is concerned. Because it's not just a matter of acquiring the right skills, a matter of actually being patient, belonging to a particular denomination. It's also a matter of creating the right kind of belief in yourself as far as the journey is concerned. And once you put the four of them together, my friend, all I can simply say is yes, you're going to come to a place where you're going to stop devaluing your potential and start seeing yourself that yes, just because I have not actualized yet, Doesn't mean that I'm an outsider. I'm simply going through the process, and until then, I have to keep my head up because I know that as far as I'm concerned, sky is the limit. All right, I'm gonna stop right here. But before I go, just a couple of things. Because, you were able to rest on this particular video. I'm going to invite you to watch this particular playlist and get more information when it comes to how to deal with people, how to deal with yourself when you seem to be stuck in between two levels. That's absolutely important. As your homework now, the one key thing I'm going to ask you to do is the following. Just sit down with yourself and try to figure out for yourself where exactly, as far as your life is concerned, you are stuck in between two levels. You can go back to where you're coming from and you haven't reached yet where you're supposed to be. What are the skills you're supposed to acquire? Be specific. Social skill, whatever skill, go back to school because not everyone has the right degrees. Go back to school, go get some experience. What are the skills you're supposed to acquire? To pay for what? For patience. How can you build your patience as far as delayed gratification is concerned? Because things are not going to happen for you right away. So how can you build a sense of patience as far as your life is concerned? D for what? Denomination. What is the group of friends that you can actually create around yourself? Not just physically, but also virtually, that can help you as far as this particular journey is concerned. And of what? Obedience. What are the books, the articles, the courses you can consider, the webinars you can consider that can help you now level up when it comes to your belief as far as who you are is concerned? Do that, my friend, and see how you can start putting that in action. And if you can actually start working on it as of right now, as of today, my friend, give yourself about 3 to 6 months and start putting things into action, and you're going to see how slowly but surely your life is going to start moving in a completely different direction. And even if there is no evidence, no proof as far as the value you're carrying is concerned, you're going to start behaving differently. And because you're going to start behaving differently, what's going to happen is you're going to start obtaining or achieving different results. All right, much love. I'm out.